In the Scholars Chair, we have invited founder of the International Quranic Research Association, Dr. Safi Kaskas, to discuss the topic Vatican strategy, American power, and the moral opening for Muslim Christian engagement in the United States. We welcome to the Scholars Chair, founder of the International Quranic Research Association, Dr. Safi Kaskas. Dr. Kaskas, again, welcome, but I want to get the question right up front. Tell us, why did you write the article entitled Vatican Strategy, American Power, and the Moral Opening for Muslim Christian Engagement in America, in the United States? What appealed to you?
Sure. Brother Khalil, I see an opportunity. And as a strategist, I value that opportunity tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate for this opportunity to just go by with Muslims watching and being quiet about it. And to be very frank with you, so far, none of the Muslim leaders anywhere in the Muslim world have responded to the courage displayed,
Yes.
repositioning that the Catholic Church from a neutral position to an anti-war, pro-peace, pro-human right position. This is basically why I wrote the article, why I think it's extremely important that we seize as Muslim leaders this moment, that we appreciate the new positioning, and we're right there with them. We're a minority, they're a minority also.
Yeah.
So for the first time, because he defined his position, we're not going to be there with him to explain why we are Muslims, but because we are Muslim, because we are anti-war, pro-peace, and pro-human dignity.
Yes.
That's all there is to it.
There is that is the essence of what we're going to be talking about. But tell us, because I'm sure a lot of Muslims are going to be asking, who is Pope Leo the 14th to you as a Muslim?
Well, actually, I look at him on one hand as the first American Pope, but what defines him is not really his nationality for me, and it is his orientation. And the moment at which he emerged, that is important as far as I'm concerned. Since his election in May 2025, he has made it even very clear to everyone that his papacy will not be shaped by national identity or geographical alignment. In fact, quite the opposite. He seems to understand that being an American Pope requires him to speak truth to power, even if this creates distance with the American power, not proximity to it.
Yes.
Yeah, he is presenting himself as a global moral authority, not as a cultural or national representative. That distinction is very important.
Yes.
The credibility of the church today, the Catholic Church, depends not on influence, but on ethical consistency.
That is the essence of the theology of Islam, and I think that's very supportive of your position. Now, what is the Pope Leo's strategic stance? That word is not very often used in the graphic design area, but what is his stance concerning the Vatican's moral authority over political power?
Well, being a strategist, that's all I look at when I look at somebody with importance speaking about issues of morality.
Yes.
His central strategic stand can be summarized in one phrase: moral sovereignty over political proximity. Moral sovereignty over political proximity. He's not trying to get close to power. He's trying to speak truth to power. And that's what makes a difference. You know, what he is saying through both words and action. is that the church must not measure its success by how close it is to the power, but how faithful it is to moral principles. Historically, there has always been tension between these two impulses. One, the desire to influence power by staying close to it. The other is to maintain integrity by remaining independent of it. And what Pope Leo is doing is decisively choosing the second position. He's staying independent, away, so he can freely speak truth to power.
Yes. I'm curious what your position might be on this. Wouldn't a moral stance actually be a political stance? I'm just curious.
Yes, indeed.
Mhm.
This is what logic will tell me.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
but basically, we're living in a world where almost power is taken over international legality. We
Uh,
see that the institution built after World War II to maintain neutrality and uh, peace and legitimize position is totally asleep, totally silent,
mm,
and we see the logic of power taking over. You know,
yes, yes,
but
yes.
the stand that the Pope is taking at this time,
Mhm.
uh, he is making sure that credibility, his own credibility, and the credibility of the church is the foundation of moral authority,
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
basically what you're saying. But
Yes.
he's demonstrating this
Mhm.
not only with what he's saying, with his actions.
Yes.
What's missing of this formula is where the Muslim world and its leaders are standing.
Yes.
They're nowhere to be found.
I think that is quite telling, but there's a lot of people who are staying far away from this for a lot of different reasons.
Yes.
Mostly out of fear, I think. Why do you think the Muslims' engagement with Christians
Yeah.
to reassert moral sovereignty over political proximity?
Well, it is very important for Muslim to engage everybody,
Yeah.
including all Christians. But here we're talking specifically about the need to engage the Catholic Church. We need to be engaging right now the Catholic Church. I mean, we historically we had all kind of engagement with it, and we had all kind of stands that bring Catholics and Muslims together. But today it's very important because we have a courageous Pope who are doing something different from what was done before. This moment is very significant for Muslim, especially in United States. For decades, Muslims have often found themselves in a defensive posture here in public discourse, responding to narratives shaped by nationalism, security concern, and cultural conflict. What
Yeah.
we had to do in the past is to explain what Islam is. Today, with the new development, we don't need to do this. What we need to do is to tell United States we are aligning ourselves with where the Pope stands, because the Quran teaches the same principle, even more and beyond that.
Yes.
And we need to do this, but we're not doing it. I keep going back to the point that we have an opportunity, but we're missing it. And Muslim leaders need to wake up. It's not enough what they're doing today. It's not enough that they get involved with interfaith, and we're going to talk about this later. What is important today is to have the leadership that doesn't exist today in the greater Washington, D.C. area. They're fragmented.
Mm.
Our mosques are not represented in one council. They
Mm.
are fragmented, and this fragmentation is killing us.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We need to come together with one voice, saying the Quran says 1, 2, 3, 4, and it is pro-humanity. It is pro-United States when it's taken the side of peace and the side of human dignity. We are on the side of United States when it's taken the side of the Constitution of United States.
Right.
Unfortunately, we are seeing leadership in the United States trying to step all over the Constitution. I'm worried about my own freedoms, freedom of speech, freedom of practicing my religion freely, all of this. So this is why I'm calling for the leaders of all the mosques, all the imams to get together in a council, one council that represent all of us,
Yes. Yeah.
and speak in one voice, because power respect power.
Yes.
If we are weak, they don't respect us. If they know they can use one mosque against the other, they don't respect us. If they think of us as Sunni and Shia, they don't respect us.
Yes. Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, everybody is welcome, and their mosques are welcome if they declare La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. I don't care what color they are. I don't care what national origin they are. I don't care what they call themselves. Shahada will unite us.
Yes, I think they're absolutely correct. The Pope has done that for the Catholics, and the Catholic structure allows him the ability to do that. And I was very impressed with what he's said thus far. I hope that he continues. Do you think that the Pope is becoming kind of an outcaster a little bit? You think he just kind of is becoming this political outcast that our government can throw stones at?
Well, they like to throw stones, this particular, not our government, this present government,
Right.
because we had in the United States decent people like President Carter, and
Yeah.
they called him a weak president. Why did they call him a weak president? Because he was pro-human rights, and he was trying to defend people right to vote and people right to practice religion freely, not just in the United States, throughout the world.
Yes. Yes.
That,
Yeah.
See, we have a group of Americans who control wealth, who control the military industrial, areas,
Yes.
that would like to see a war going on all the time. When the Soviet Union fell, they, along with the Mossad and the CIA, convinced the government that the new enemy of the United States should be the Muslims. This is why General Leslie Clark told all of us in public that he walked into the Pentagon one day and somebody handed him a memorandum saying we have to attack 7 countries in 5 years. And when he asked why, they said, we don't know. Well, because somebody decided Muslims ought to be the new enemy, and we ought to get everybody to think that they are the devils, and they have designed on the United States to force their Sharia over every state of the United States. What Sharia? Get lost.
Yes.
We
Yes.
don't have any plans to impose anything. We are only 1% of the population. What we're trying to do, and we will do it, is defend the Constitution of the United States, whether you like it or not. And I'm speaking to the Islamophobe right now.
Yes, I appreciate that, because there's a lot of people on social media that are attacking this point of view
I know
that
why.
you're raising. And well, I think that it's there's a lot of money to do so, and
Exactly.
so people are writing books and doing lectures
Absolutely.
and
And more than that, beyond that,
beyond that.
Israel is defeated today.
Yes.
They lost a major war.
Yes.
They are defeated every day in South Lebanon. They're not able to hold 1 centimeter of the ground of the Lebanese south that they bombarded and destroyed all its villages. Yet they cannot walk freely in 1 meter of the Lebanese ground without being attacked by faithful, strong, young Lebanese men and women who vow to defend their land against all aggression, and they're not able to hold into that land. They're defeated. Their image in Gaza is tarnished. Everybody know they committed a genocide over there. So in order to correct that image, they are spending hundreds of millions of dollars trying to buy publicity saying Islam is the enemy. No, we're not the enemy. We love United States. And we vow right now to do our best to vote pro-constitution leaders.
Yes, in fact, I think you are in line with most rational thinking people, and I think that the next question kind of directs us towards that. Do you think that there are moral and ethical agreement between Muslims and the Pope the current Pope, Pope Leo, public statement concerning the sanctity of life? I think that the Pope has stated over and over again in his new messages to the Catholic people that their life is sacred, and this is also an Islamic value as well.
Indeed, I do. There is a very strong and meaningful moral convergence between his stance and where Islam stands.
Yes.
In Islam, the concept of human dignity or all human beings is foundational, not
Yeah.
just dignity of one human being or select people or chosen people. All humanity is chosen.
Yeah.
God created humanity and he endowed them with dignity, everybody.
Yeah.
In Islam, the concept of human dignity for all human beings is foundational. The Quran tells us that saving one life is like saving all of humanity. Allah says in the Quran, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. We have honored the children of Adam with dignity. This is remarkably consistent with the Pope's emphasis on the sanctity of a human life and the rejection of unjust violence. Now, of course, they're all kind of, I can go through the values that he's talking about one at a time. He's talking about, justice. Quran says, be steadfast in justice, even against yourself. This is in Surah 4, verse 135. Quran talks about compassion. It urges every Muslim to show forgiveness, enjoin kindness. This is in chapter 7, verse 199. Quran talks about accountability before God. The Quran says that every soul will be held in pledge of what it earned. You're only responsible for what you have done, and no one can prevent that from happening. I will be standing in front of my Creator one day to be accountable of my own deed, not your deed, not somebody else's deed, my own deed. And this is in chapter 74, verse 38. And this is shared. This is shared ethical ground. It's very powerful to support meaningful cooperation, especially in a world where these values are often compromised, especially today.
Especially today. This Pope is opening up some ground that needed to be open. I think the Vatican has always been on this trail for some time, since the election of Pope Francis, who
that John Paul.
Hmm?
Before Francis, John Paul.
Yeah, John Paul. That's absolutely right. They have been just incredible support for this universal ethical moral positioning that you're referring to.
Yeah.
And I think that's absolutely right. So you are noting that there is a moral red line against violence that is demonstrated by Pope Leo's comments. It's one that no longer bends the alliance to politics. And this is something that you wrote, that the Pope has basically changed his stance.
Yeah.
And you've been quite clear about that. Can you speak a little more about his position?
Sure. What I meant by that is that the Vatican is re-establishing the idea that some moral principles are non-negotiable.
Right.
They do not change depending on who is involved.
Yes.
In the past, there were moments where moral positions appeared flexible, especially with complex geopolitical alliances. What we are seeing now is a refusal to allow moral clarity to bend under political pressure. So when the Vatican speaks about war or violence, it is not asking what are our strategic interests. It's asking what is morally permissible and what is not. So it will take the size of what is morally permissible, not what will serve the best interest of the Vatican, which is a major change in the positioning of the Vatican, something I like very much. This shift is extremely significant because once you restore a clear moral line, you create a standard that apply universally, not selectively.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. The Vatican has some interesting investment in Israel itself. They have schools, they have churches, and they have Christians living there in Israel. This kind of promotes the need for diplomacy with Israel, and it also puts some very important legal grounds on which to operate with one state against another. They and what they require is that there have to be some economic exchanges in order to even have diplomatic relationships. Tell me, how can you find the moral foundation on someone who's so committed to the establishment or the maintenance of apartheid, essentially, in Israel? I'm saying those words, nobody else.
I know.
But this is to me like supporting South Africa doing this.
Well, the question is very clear.
Yeah.
Historically, what you're talking about is correct.
Yeah.
Practically, it's changing.
Yes.
I am not expressing a stand from the Pope based on the history of the papacy.
Right. Right.
Because the papacy in the past encouraged the Crusades.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Armies coming to the Middle East for no reason except hatred of Islam and greed for the land and the wealth.
Mm-hmm.
But this is different today. I have an opportunity. I am living through an opportunity where a courageous Pope is trying to reposition all of this and put the Vatican in a place of fairness, pro-peace, anti-war, and pro-human rights. Therefore, I see that it is my duty as a Muslim who understands the Quran and follows the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to tell this man, I'm with you, I stand with you, not religiously, politically, and practically. As long as you are supporting human rights, you'll find me right next to you, fighting with you the enemies of human rights. At this time, the Pope went to Lebanon and expressed solidarity with the Lebanese because their attack, and Israel is attacking them in the south of Lebanon. He went there physically. He went to Turkey to express solidarity with Muslims. He took his shoes off and walked into the mosque and prayed. So if I simply watch what's happening and keep quiet, I don't matter. Whether I live or I die, it's the same. And this is what's happening today with the Muslim world. 2 billion people, and they're silent. And I find that someone need to say something, so I'm saying it. And thank you for inviting me and allowing me to say it.
Yes.
We need a Muslim voice saying the Quran stand for this. Islam is not what the Islamophobe are telling you. Islam is what the Quran says. And I already translated the Quran into English for you. So if you want to know what the Quran says, don't listen to me. Go read it for yourself. And you will find out what the Quran says. The Pope has my copy of the Quran translation.
Yes.
I went there personally and handed to him.
So,
So he has it. When he takes stands that are pro-Quran and pro-fairness, the least we can do is to say bravo.
Yeah.
This is what you need to be doing, and you'll find us right behind you.
Yes.
Or next to you.
You have been speaking out for some time against injustice. So, but you also wrote in your article, you wrote that the Pope's warm welcome of President Zelensky, the leader of Ukraine, contrasts with the absence of a corresponding invitation to President Trump, was widely read as a political snub. And yes, it would be for
You
anyone.
did.
So I can understand that completely. So, but tell me, what is please explain more about this
Okay.
this invitation.
Okay. Well, many interpreted this contrast as political,
Yeah.
but I see it as a moral signal. Moral.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Pope appears to be prioritizing, given priority
Yes.
to be on the side of the injured, the victim, rather than the power that can control the situation.
Yes.
He's saying he's on the side of the weak. He's saying he's on the side of the victims, rather than those that caused the problem to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't forget the European and the American kept encouraging Zelensky and his country to join NATO at a time when they knew Russia is not going to be quiet about this.
Yes.
So, we told him we stand by him, but we didn't tell him we can protect his people from dying by the thousands.
Yeah.
The same thing is happening right now in the Middle East. Netanyahu talked our president into attacking Iran, and we are paying the price. You and I, out of our pocket, out of our taxes. It's the same thing, except in this case, Iran stood its ground and is able to defend itself. Poland is paying a heavy price and it's becoming a victim. So the Pope appeared to be prioritizing engagement with those who are experience the consequences of conflict rather than those exercising power within it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is why I say this is not political. It's basically moral. You know.
Yes, and I think the Pope also by not pointing a finger at the Republicans or Democrats or any particular group, he's talking about the principles involved. And
exactly, he will become political if he sides with a group.
That's right.
He is not. He's smarter than that.
The group he seems to be more supportive of is all human life. And he wants those life to be.
He's talking about principles,
yeah,
not groups, not parties, and not particular governments. Yeah. He's talking about principles. Yeah. If you are with these principles, that's why I'm calling on Muslims to support him. Mm-hmm. He is not coming as he is the head of the Catholic Church, yes, but the head of the Catholic Church is taking a moral position. Yes. So when you support him, you're not supporting Christianity. You're supporting that moral position that is Quranic in principle.
Yes, and the Quran advises us of that. Support all that is good. There's no question.
Be on the side of what's right.
That's right.
Against all aggressors.
Yes, I quite agree. And you also go on in your article, and I want to just ask the question: what does the Vatican reshaping its public boards mean to Muslim engagement with Christians? It doesn't give us an opportunity to tell what the Quran is already informing us of, and that is to be supportive of all
right
that is
against what's wrong.
That's yes. Right. All that is right.
Pro human right and against human oppression.
Yes.
That's what it is.
This,
I mean, this is where I believe the opportunity lies. For many years, interfaith engagement